Who's your favorite intern?
Who's my favorite intern? Well, currently. Oh wait, no, we have 2 interns. I
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
Tricky
you.
situation.
I was like, oh wait, there's 2, so I can't say that. You're my favorite video production intern. How about that?
I'll take it.
Erika is my favorite video production intern for the spring and fall of 21 and 22.
Okay. I'll take it.
I'm my favorite intern of all
I'll
time.
take it. That's fair.
I'm my favorite intern.
Yeah. I forgot you were an intern.
I was an intern. I was. For a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
This is the last chance to tell you that I'm not coming back. This is the last chance to tell you. Last chance to tell you that I'm.
Cool. What up, vlog? We're here and we're gonna teach Erika some things about lighting today. So
Am
you're gonna see it.
background of this?
Yes. And now you're in the vlog.
I don't want to be in the background.
Well, turn around then.
What's up, vlog? Today we're gonna teach Erika lighting 101, 3-point lighting. It's a very basic lighting setup we do here at the office. I am not a lighting professional by any means. I've just picked up a lot of lighting tips and tricks along my various shoots I've been a part of here and everything, and from learning. Honestly, most things I know is from Ty Belfi, which he's an amazing lighter. We hope to have him in once the studio is completed, but for now, we're gonna learn some very basic lighting setups through the lens of Erika lighting me for a very basic interview setup. And we got a little diagram here of what it should look like, theoretically, based on a photo I found on the internet. And then things to consider. So lighting height, lighting intensity, lighting placement. This is, in my opinion, probably one of the biggest ones, because lighting placement is what's gonna ultimately affect your style, because the placement of the lights and the placement of the camera is what's gonna showcase the shadows. And lighting intensity would also probably go with that a bit, of affecting your style super heavily, because again, that's gonna really either emphasize shadows or it's gonna not have as many shadows. And then number of lights you want to consider, obviously. Number of cameras, camera placement. These are all good things to consider for a very basic level lighting setup. The room Erika has chosen to light me in is, not gonna lie, slight cop out. There's no windows, but it'll be a very good controlled lighting scenario. We're gonna go to the conference room, so let's head there now.
So this is the conference room. This is what I will be lighting. I would just like to argue against Noah's point that this is a cop-out, because that was not my intention. I didn't realize that there weren't windows. I thought it was just it's a nice space. It's a big space that like gives me room to figure out how to light things. So hopefully it'll be good.
Okay, so an important part of lighting is where you want your subject. So given the conference room is where you want to set up. Obviously, we have the camera over there that's just getting vlog stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the doorway. I'm guessing you don't want to shoot the doorway because people will walk through, potentially. So in this space, where do you want me to sit for your lighting exercise?
Like over here, kind of.
Over here?
Yeah, it would give you a nice background, sort of, but not anything super distracting.
Mm-hmm. So you would want a lot of foreground, or like you'd want the foreground to be more like dithered out as opposed to the background. Oh, so like if I'm sitting over there, then your back, like that means I'm closer to my background. So you're gonna see these photos a lot more clearly than say if I'm over, like it'll just, your focus range will just shift. So like the foreground, there's a better chance of that being able to be less in focus, which is a style that you could always do.
Yeah.
So like if you're shooting, say, across from this direction, this is gonna be more soft, and then me in the background are gonna be a lot more easy to read.
Got it.
But if you threw me, and this is like just talking through so that you can make whatever decision you wanna make.
Yeah.
If you put me, say, at the very tip of this corner, then obviously that stuff gets more blurred out, and then everything you see up here is more in focus. So one thing that we've done whenever me and Tristan have had to shoot at tables and stuff is we can position people more in a situation like where they're sitting at a table, like in an angle, and so say the camera is roughly around here, and they're being interviewed by someone that's sitting over here. So then when they sit down, like the camera is actually shooting, so if I'm sitting here, and I'm talking to, like, say, like, you're interviewing me from the trash can,
Yeah.
and you have the camera coming more from, like, where the water cooler is, then my background in that scenario is actually going to be more over there, which is super long, and you'll get some visuals of this all the way up until the wall of like where that poster is.
Yeah.
But you won't actually see what that poster is saying because of the distance that we're at.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to use a big light panel for the backlight?
I want to see how it looks mostly.
Okay.
And just see if it's a good lighting choice. And if it isn't, then I'll use the other one, the little one that I forgot the name to.
Aperture.
Aperture. That
Yes.
one. Yes.
Good plan. Experimentation. We love
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So Erika, what are you doing right now?
I'm adjusting the Iso and Aperture so I can get to meter correctly. Hello.
How's it going? Are you learning?
I'm learning.
I hope so.
I'm also a little stressed, but
That's when you start. So your aperture, I would keep it between 2.8 and 4 is what we normally do.
got it. Whoops.
So if you keep it on either one of those numbers, either 2.8, 4, or in between there, for most interview shoots, that's going to be your ideal aperture. And then it'll be ISO from there. And lights, I guess, because you can also add...
I was gonna say I hate this light.
Let's say we have 3 lights to work with, so you can, if you feel like you need more, we're still theoretically missing the key light, which could be used by.
Which one's the key light again?
Key light is another one in the front that does. I think of it more. So like the fills more of the scene. The key light is something that usually like put up to kind of help like give highlights or accents in the front. Because your backlight is what's going to give you accents in the back. Because the backlight also acts as your, like I said, like the back accent that will separate your subject from the background. So yeah, the more, it's kind of like if you look at some of the interviews and stuff we've done, sometimes you'll see someone's like the back of their head will kind of shine a little bit from like the light hitting it, which just helps separate them from the background.
I see.
So is there usually like a color that you guys go for when it comes to this kind of stuff?
It really depends on the space we're in, type of thing. You want to keep it just whatever is looking natural, type of thing. Like just because there is those big windows right there, you probably want to go more orange, like more sunlight tones, just to kind of match that natural light coming in. Because you'll be able to notice that, like, if you make it 100% blue, obviously you're like more in that artificial light range. It's going to be really noticeable. But if you try to like gear it more towards the extra light sources you don't have control over, then it'll then become a constant light source, or like it'll pose as a constant light source. Because essentially what you're just trying to do is imitate the sun.
Okay. So like, orange is more for like sunlight situations, and blue is more for like if you're in a classroom and all you have is
Like really sterile looking lights. Yeah, if you only have fluorescent lights, you're gonna want to go more of that tungsten route.
You're looking very vampire-like.
So I'm looking washed out.
Yeah, is that something?
That would be something that you could adjust. So that's going to come more so from the intensity of the light. So that means if I'm being washed out, that means too much light is reflecting off of me, which is where the diffuser sometimes comes into play, because you can still keep it at a high intensity, but it spreads out the light. Did you mean though like a glare like on like my face? So what you can do to kind of prevent that is you could move it like back potentially, because odds are like more at, because if there was a glare in my face, odds are that meant it was too close, so like it was spilling over and hitting me inside of the face. So then if you move it back and like potentially more of like an angle backwards, and you just aim it like, aim it directly at the back of my head, and that might give you the more desired approach.
Let me see.
Or at least starting there, and then you could slowly move it away and like rotate it based on what it looks like. Because then you might also be giving me like a halo effect if you do too directly. And though I feel like I do have some pretty amazing skills, I don't know if I deserve a halo.
You might not have been able to see this very well, but could you see the flare?
Yeah.
So
That's what I was trying to.
So the
There's
best
a flare
way,
and a glare.
the best way to get rid of that, you can see my hand right here is
Yeah.
affecting it, but my hand's not in it. You would actually like use a separate stand and put a flag on it and just put something right here just off screen
Okay.
to stop that
Yeah.
that flare from happening. The other, sometimes you can get away with rotating the hood.
Or getting a piece of duct tape.
Yeah, we've used gaff tape a lot too.
Yeah.
See how
Oh yeah.
right there?
Yeah, I see that.
Just turning the hood like that.
Nice.
So it goes from that to that right there just by rotating the hood. Now that only works if the camera's static, because if you went and moved this around now, this would fall off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for an interview, that works perfectly fine just to rotate the hood to fill in that spot.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but you can kind of see I'm turning it a little too far. You can see it kind of dipping into the corner. And that's why, okay, so when you look at this hood, that's why the top and bottom are longer and the sides are shorter. It's because of 35 millimeters, so it's wider.
Yeah.
If you look at the 85, it's a full ring hood because it's tight enough that the hood never gets in it. The reason these are cut out is because if it was like this, these would be in the sides of the frame. And that's why as I turn, get this back on now. As I turn it over here, it kind of darkens that top corner.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it just until that flares out, the little bit of vignetting that happens up there is probably imperceivable to most people.
Yeah.
But it sharpens up what his face looks like versus having it like that.
I agree.
So,
Okay.
It does look good. So, Erica, what did you learn from this today then?
Ooh, a lot about lighting.
All about lighting?
Yeah.
So, I guess some feedback. So, if you look behind you, obviously there is. So, say, yeah, you're not using me as a subject, where I cover that that hot spot that comes on the wall. What do you think you would do to cover up that hot spot in the case of like someone who's shorter?
Well, I would see if there's any way to like use a light to kind of like light that out.
Mhm.
Otherwise, like figuring out some way to cover it possibly.
Another solution is to unfortunately just move everything.
That too. That too.
But this is awesome. It actually looks really, really cool. Like, there's a good foreground and background image and everything. The one thing that could be a slight bummer, or like that we'd want to potentially tweak or adjust or something, is if you look back over there, there's a light socket that you can see, which isn't bad, but that stuff's usually semi-undesirable, especially when you have like a wall that's all blue like that, because it's going to stand out a lot more, even though you can't see it's a light socket, but you know it's a light socket.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this is a very fantastic lighting setup. I don't know, do you want to use it? Do you want me to sit down and anything? Do you have any desire for that?
Sure. Yeah. In summary, 3 quick tips for somebody who wants to learn lighting.
Quick tips. You want to set up your big lights first, so your fill lights, and you want to be sure that it works with the natural light that you might have in your space. Then you want to go to the backlight and be sure that you're creating just enough of a silhouette and highlight behind the subject to separate them from the background. And then what you'd want to do is go in, add all your little extra lights that you might want to add. So say you did want to fill in this background and stuff, you would then use the additional lights you have to help fill that in. Or like Zach mentioned earlier, you would look for, if you see flares that you don't want, you would look for those and find ways to flag those off. So you would either put up a flag on a stand off to the side, or as we did in this scenario, adjust the hood of the camera to counteract that flare that was coming in. And yeah, that was Lighting 101 from someone that knows video production, but not everything about lighting.
And the intern.
And the intern. Good exercise,
Yeah.
Erica. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Very
Yep.
proud.
Okay. Bye, vlog.
Bye, vlog.
Bye.